yak trapping, yak trapping, heavy bagging.
Welcome back to Fishing with Poppy, the podcast. First thing I want to say before we get started is take somebody fishing that doesn't look like you or isn't in your clique or group of people. Go grab somebody. Anyway, we got some major hitters on the show today. We're going to jump right into it, have everybody introduce themselves, starting on my right.
Hey, what it do, fishing fam? If you know me or not, I'm Real 817 Fishing. I'm coming up out of Fort Worth, and I put on for the city all day long, a.k.a. the Pond Father. We'll talk about a little more about that, show y'all how we get it down. Thanks for having me, Poppy. Let's go.
Hi, my name's Greg. I don't really have a nickname. I'm from Dallas. A group called DFW Bass Hogs. Check us out. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and just love fishing, just like these guys.
Billy Risley, I'm the tournament director for the American Bass Anglers DFW Fishing Tour here locally. We hold tournaments in and around the DFW Metroplex, and we're geared toward beginners to advanced anglers. So Poppy, thanks for having us.
Describe to our viewers what got you started fishing, or the story behind your first time fishing.
I'm going to be brief, man, because, in 2017, I wasn't one of those people that did it when they was a kid and all that, unfortunately. But what happened was, I had a friend of mine. She had some poles in the garage. Little short story. I saw the poles. There was some zip codes, red and blue one. And I said, hey man, do those poles work? He's like, yeah, they work. I never used them. Took them to the park one day. I met a little guy. He was fishing. He was catching bluegills with worms. He showed me how to catch a bluegill. After that, I guess I was sprung. I started watching YouTube. I started, exploring different species of fish, and I came across a largemouth bass. And man, my life changed. Something happened. I was like, man, you know what? I caught one before, but I didn't know what it was. So now that I know what it is, I want to catch more of them, and that's how I started, guys. So I jumped in straight from YouTube. I was already 37 years old. I'm 40 now, so I've been doing this 3 years. Let's get it.
Well, yeah, I've been fishing since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But 3-4 years ago, I got really into bass fishing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different feeling, you know.
What's it like to hook into a bass fish, a real one?
I mean, I haven't gotten that experience yet. My PB's 7 pounds, but still, that was a good fight. Yeah,
That's
it's
a real
a big fish.
I just did seven.
It's a big fish, but I'm just like every other angler. You want that 10 plus,
yeah.
and but it's a different feeling. You finally find it, you feel that tug, and you just well into him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoo, another feeling, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
I grew up way out in the middle of nowhere, but we were really close to a good fishing lake. And my grandmother used to take me from my earliest memories with crickets and night crawlers, and we called them perch. We called everything that wasn't a crappie, catfish, or bass was a perch. Mm-hmm. They were bluegill. And then I used to see these big shiny boats go by, and I didn't know what they were doing, but my granny would tell me that those were bass boats. And I was like, I don't know what they're doing on those bass boats, but it can't be any better than what I'm doing here, catching these perch. So then later on, I was probably 6-7 years old, we got satellite TV out there, and I got TNN, was able to watch the Bassmasters. And that was the best thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh man, I feel
Like, on Saturday, Sunday morning, I'd get up and watch the Bassmasters. Like, that's what those guys are doing in those big shiny bass boats. I gotta get me one of those. And that set my course for my entire life. My goal in life was to fish in bass tournaments and get one of those boats. And Greg's right. Hooking that first bass, yeah, man, it's an addiction.
Now, I want to elaborate on that one time real quick, guys. This happened yesterday. So I'm casting. That it was a little windy yesterday, a little overcast. So I'm casting a lure that I'm not super confident in. It's a Bill Lewis rattle trap. I like the lure because I know it's a classic all-time fish catcher. So I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to throw this rattle trap today because of the setting. Everybody, oh man, it's windy. Oh, it's overcast. Throw the red one. So it's something in my brain, throw the red one. And I'm telling you, this happened yesterday. So I'm sitting here and I'm fixing my retrieve, yo-yoing it and ripping it. Man, a 4-pound bass smoked it. Boom! So when I tell you about the feeling, I got light gear. So I'm out here 12
You're really
pound.
fighting.
Yeah, I'm 12 pound line. Look at the rattle, it's still tied on. Yesterday, the rattle trap, it's still tied on. So I'm out there And I'm telling y'all now, when the aggressive fish, when the aggressive bass attacks, it's a kill strike. He not trying to feel it or play. When that bait ripped past that bass, he wanted to kill it, and he ran it down. And guess what, guys? Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it.
Are you telling yourself, okay, I'm gonna work left to right, or is there any kind of system that you go for, like you were saying? He felt the overcast, a little bit of wind,
Did you listen to the
and that made him do.
Yeah. Usually what I do, like, I try to find, like right now it's real windy outside. I try to look for where the wind's blowing, because usually it pushes all the bait up, that wind, so it attracts the bait or the bass. And then, I mean, usually I just try to find brush, get during bedding season, get you some polarized glasses.
So Greg, do you fish from the boat or from the bank? How do you get it?
I do bank and kayak.
Okay, man.
Yeah, bank and kayak.
How do you break down a body of water when you pull up?
I usually fish in the bigger lakes, and it's really important to know the seasonal movements of these fish. Sometimes, like in the heat of the summer, they're going to be out there in deep water where it's cooler, around brush piles and deep structure. But like this time of year, like Greg said, they're moving up shallow and they're wanting to do their yearly thing.
Killing.
And now's the best time to be out there fishing. It doesn't matter if you're in a lake, a pond, a river, your neighborhood irrigation ditch. It's on right now and they're shallow. So I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing what time of year and what the fish should be doing.
What helped you get better as an angler?
I'm gonna be honest, guys.
Like one thing instantly made you a better angler.
Iron sharpens iron. So I hang out with other anglers, straight up. I traded out my old friends for straight up new friends. No shade to my old friends, no shade, guys. But my new friends, man, they teach me this. How to tie bass knots, how to, think about the moon. And, stuff I would never ever in my life care about. People God put in my life these days, man, hey, iron sharpens iron. So don't be acting like you know everything, man. Somebody might be able to teach you something. And shout out to my teammates, man, Team Relay 17 Fishing, because you guys, hey, y'all know what it is, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know.
More time in the water. More time in the water. I mean, you're not gonna get better just going once a week or once or twice a month. Or you gotta put the time in. And I've come a long way. When I first started, I'd get frustrated. I'd get skunked. And, I'm not going back and this and that. And, then I bought my first kayak. Maybe caught a couple fish on it. But as the years started going by, just more time in the water. Just getting better and better and better.
What both these guys have said is 100% right. Time on the water and hanging out with other anglers that fish differently, because everybody develops their own patterns, their own things that they like to do, their own favorite techniques. And if you get too focused on one thing, you'll never expand. And that one thing works maybe a month out of the year, maybe 2 months out of the year, but those other anglers are experts in something else that might work some other months.
Exactly.
So these guys are dead on. Time on the water and hang out with guys. And I can say that now with the internet, we got YouTube.
Oh, man.
There's so many good videos.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for the YouTube.
You could get in that YouTube trap and spend days watching fishing videos on there.
I'm so much about YouTube, just to not cut my man off. But even on YouTube, I had to learn, because like you said, they show us so much stuff. And you're a beginner, man, you want to try all that. Oh, look at that plopper. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this swim thing. Look at this underwater diver color bleeding. Okay, but in reality, you want to learn how to do one or two things very well, and then start trying to open up that box. But if you can't guarantee yourself a catch, and then you want to blow your mind with YouTube, you will. I mean, you'll catch up. But I'm telling you now, man, master one or two things, man. Then, open up the colors and the cranks and all that drama.
One reel, one lure. You're catching. What is it?
Or the reel I got is a Cash King on a Berkeley rod. And my if I had to pick one
Your
lure,
go-to.
right now would probably be a swim jig.
Okay.
Swim jig with a paddle tail trailer, maybe I would probably go with a 1/4 ounce
What color you like?
white. It's gotta be white.
Where you throwing it at? Like, you know what I mean?
Huh?
Where you targeting this swim jig?
Where am I targeted? Ponds, little ponds, rivers. There's one spot I go to. The water's pretty clear, and I mean, I don't know. The white, it's always worked for me. No matter if it's a spinnerbait, chatterbait, swim jig, it's got to be white.
Go ahead. One rod.
I got it right here. I brought it with me.
Pull it out.
I brought it with me. Now, I would say
That looked like something real.
a jig, but this right here, when I've got to catch a fish,
Ooh, the wacky.
I'm in a tournament and I need a fish.
Ooh, the wacky.
There it is, right there. That's an old school weighted, and I use a weedless
Weedless, yep.
wacky hook because I can throw this around brush and lay down trees. I can get a little bit deeper with that weighted one if it's later on the fish are back deep, I can get it deeper with that. If there's a fish there, I believe he'll bite this.
Yes, sir.
And I use Lew's tournament reel, and I use a high-speed reel because with this technique, you're going to let it fall, and it does all its damage on the fall.
Mm-hmm.
That little shimmy it does when it sinks, and then I want to pick it up, let it fall again, and then I want to move it in and get it to the next spot. And I throw that on a medium action Pride fishing rods, a 7-foot medium, because this is still a pretty light rig, even though I've got a 1/4 ounce weight on there. So with that medium action, I can get it out there and make a real long, accurate cast with it. So that's if I've got to catch a fish, if money's on the line,
Yes, sir.
I'm throwing a wacky rig. And I've got that on just a Yamamoto Cinco right there. That's the original, and I
That's
believe
the
it's
money.
probably still one of the best.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there right now, but that's a good one.
Hold on. Go through what's on. What else you throwing on your table? We'll get into some blue.
All right. So, Poppy, I brought this for you. This is from these guys sponsor our trail. Shout out to Bass Assets. They're a local company up there in McKinney.
Bass Assets
for
McKinney.
you. Yeah, that's an Alpha Blade, which is their bladed jig, and it's got more action than any other bladed jig on the
I like
market
that.
right
I
now.
like
You
when
throw
they
that,
dance.
as soon as you throw that out there and you start to pull it, like sometimes you'll need to pop that rod to get that blade to work. You don't need to do that with this one. As soon as it hits the water, it's doing the
It's
deal.
dancing. All right.
So you got to pull that. So, and with that, so this time of year, red.
Let's go.
Reels over there said it earlier.
Yeah.
Red, and there's so many different trailers. Another thing about these Alpha Blades is that trailer keeper on there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you'll throw these, and that trailer over time gets soft, and it'll start working its way back. That's not going to happen with this Alpha Blade. It's got 2 different style keepers on there, and it's locked into place. So with this Alpha Blade, this is a red one. This is what I'm throwing this time of year. I'm going to head out to Lake Fork this weekend.
Ooh, my favorite.
I'm going to be covering a lot of water with this bait right here. And for the trailer, I've got the Lake Fork Trophy Lures. They also sponsor our tournaments there. We give away Lake Fork Trophy Tackle and Bass Assets at every tournament. This is the Live Magic Shad trailer that I'm throwing, and this trailer has a really good action.
That's actually, yeah.
Yeah, so, and Poppy, I brought you these from Lake Fork Trophy Lures, our sponsors. So these are
not
some
trying them,
straw
so I'm
tubes.
excited.
Yeah, so they're kind of an old school tube with a new school creature stuff going on there. So those are really good, especially this time of year when the fish are on beds. That's something they don't see a lot of, so that's good. So these are just excellent baits.
Now keep in mind that I am fishing smaller bodies of water. I'm a pond fisherman. So my go-to any day, like my man said a while ago, if I have to put money on a presentation, it's gonna be the drop shot. Period. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple to tie it on, and it's easy to do it. It's a technique that I guess I'm gonna say right now, for my first year of bass fishing, it's all I knew how to do. I didn't know how to throw a Cinco or Texas rig or nothing. All I knew how to do was a drop shot. So I caught 100% of my bass in 2017 and 18 on the drop shot. So that's just that. So the drop shot, I don't care what time of year it is, what time of day it is, the water color, how hot, the drop shot will get you big. Now, this time of year, what I'm doing, I feel like the fish they feeding, so I'm throwing an underspin. I know right now, all bass are very aggressive. All the bass are, they like, what you can call them bionic. You know, they got a lot of testosterone up in them. So they don't mind blowing up on bait, chasing bait down. So I take this underspin by fish head. If it ain't too windy, I ain't trying to fish too deep, I'm gonna throw 1/4 ounce. And I'm gonna pair it up with a Kitech Easy Shiner. It's a 4-inch. It looks like a bass snack because that's what it is. I call this bass candy. I mean, I ain't gonna say I don't get skunked, but I don't get skunked often. You know what I'm saying? Because I go to old school techniques, old school tactics. I don't care. I mean, I know you wanna rip it, you wanna get out there and throw some cranks and rip. But sometimes you just have to, like my man was saying a while ago with that wacky rig, you have to understand that all bass are not acting the same way they was acting today. So just because they did that yesterday, don't mean today they're gonna behave that way. So get to a new body of water, never fished it before, money on the line or just for fun, tie the drop shot on. The drop shot, if you having fun with the drop shot, pick up underspin, a Kitech. Hey man, numbers going up. Numbers going up.
Let's stay with that a little bit. Greg, what advice would you give a beginning angler? I mean, he's got his he's got his kayak or boat. He's got some stuff. He's got some tackle. What advice would you give like a guy just starting out?
Well, funny thing is, I got my 11-year-old son into bass fishing.
Let's go.
And
That's going to get expensive for you.
Yes, it is.
Dad.
Yeah. Well, but I explained to him, like he said earlier, just a little while ago, that fish is going to do something different every day. And he's right now. In the beginning, he was stuck on a spinnerbait.
Yeah.
And I mean, a spinnerbait works. It works. And I told him you got to change it up. You're not always going to catch him on a spinnerbait. So we went fishing one morning, and he had his spinnerbait tied on. I said, take it off. I said, tie the swim jig. But Dad, I said, tie the swim jig on. He said, okay. So he ties it on. About the third cast, bam, gets him one.
Yeah.
I said, what'd I tell you? But as far as advice for a beginner angler, just don't give up. You're gonna get skunked, like he said. He don't get skunked as much as other people, but we do get skunked. Do your study, YouTube. The main thing is to have fun, just have patience and fun.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's having fun is the name of the game. That's why we all do it, and you get a little taste of that rush of catching that big fish. The next thing you know, you're more into it. And it's an evolution. We never perfect it. Fishing is something that you can never master. It's like the more you learn, the more you realize you have so much more left to learn.
It's real.
So after you start figuring out those fish and where they're going to be and what they're going to bite, then you start evolving into, okay, I got to get my equipment more dialed in, and you get rods, reels perfected for the specific technique. And it's like something that you can just never master. And I think that's what keeps me coming back, is I'm always trying to be better every time and just never give up and being tenacious. Just keep going, get skunked once, twice, 3 times in a row, man. You're like, man, I gotta keep going because I gotta figure it out.
What am I doing?
Maybe I should have took up golf, and then all it takes is that one thump at the end of the rod, and you remember. You're like, this is why I do that.
Baby, I'm back.
Yeah, and on that note, I've had those days, where you're casting, nothing, and you're like, you know what, I'm going home, and then you're like, one more cast, and that one last cast, there's your thumb, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna stay about 30 more minutes, then it becomes an hour, and by the time you know it, I mean, it's fun.
Let's get into how you guys feel. Like the Bass Master Tournament was won with the aid of a live scope. How you feel about live scope and the new technology?
Okay.
Next week is going to be something else.
Well, let's just be honest. Like, okay, I'm a bank fisherman, so I'm from the bank. This is a bank fisherman's perspective. Don't kill me. But I feel like when you use electronics, I'm not gonna call it no type of way is it a cheating, but it is an advantage. You know, I don't feel like it takes any less skill to catch a bass if you can see him or not. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to catch him. But I do feel like in a live scope is an advantage as far as for me from the bank. I have no idea where they are. I have no idea. I just gotta go with my instinct, look at my surroundings. You know, watch, like my man said, the birds, the wind, I rely on so much other stuff to get the job done. That when I see guys getting the job done with the live scope, I'll be like, wow. I mean, I'm in awe, first of all. But then I'm also like, man, that is so easy. Like I feel like I can do it. Like it's so easy. It's gotta be. But then in reality, don't play yourself because you gotta learn how to. You know, it's levels. You know what I'm saying? Just because you can see, I was bed fishing the other day and I could see bass everywhere that would not bite. So, but what I'm saying is, my man asked the question, how do I feel about those electronics? Hey, if I was in a tournament, I would have to have it if he had it. That's the way I feel. So
I'm the same way as his, you know, as him. If somebody else has it, I should have it too. But you know, I've got a fish finder on my kayak, but I just use it for depth and temperature.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
me too.
I'm the type of fisherman. You know, when I'm on my kayak, you know, I'm in my kayak and I'm like, okay, that spot looks like it has a fish. Throw in there. 9 times out of 10, there's a fish there. You know, it's just instinct. You know, you see your surroundings. You know, you just know there's a fish. You know.
So somebody pulls up with a live scope that can see the fish.
and just start banging them.
I mean,
Here you got decades of experience. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This kid just got his father's boat with the live scope, and he's next to you like, it was on my screen.
And like you said, I don't consider it cheating. But
It's not.
I mean, it is what it is. You know?
I mean, 300 grand on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You got 300 grand on the line. You need to use everything you
I'm
can.
one with the
You better have it.
Yeah.
Woo! I have mixed emotions about it. So you hit the nail on the head. So at this point, I got 40 years of bass fishing experience. I
Wow.
got 30 years of tournament bass fishing experience. And to see a kid half my age or less show up and start catching fish that I didn't even know were there, didn't even know those kind of fish lived there. It's exciting to see. Now, on the other hand, I own a live scope system.
Okay.
And I'm running it, and I've learned, so I've had it about a year now, a little over a year, and I've learned more in this year than I did in that 30 years. before that.
Talk to us about
So,
That's what they need, though.
so yeah, you use the birds and the wind, and you see the tree, and you get the instinct that we all learned the hard way, and say, okay, over there. So now you go over there, you can look under that. Say it's a lay down tree. You look in that tree, and you say, oh no, there's crappie in there. I'm not fishing for crappie. I'm gonna go to the next tree. Oh, there's a bass. Happened to me last weekend. There's a bass under that tree. In fact, there's 2 bass under that tree. I pitched up into there, 6.5 pounder. I saw on live scope. Now, if I hadn't had live scope, I'd have probably pitched to that tree, but I wouldn't have known that there wasn't any bass under that tree over there. And I wouldn't. So what it's done for me is eliminated
time.
dead water. There's a lot of times I'm casting and I'm thinking there's a fish looking at my bait right now. And I could just visualize that fish swimming up on my bait. That doesn't happen very often.
He's not there.
And we've learned that with live scope now, is that 90% of the times you cast, there's no fish around. And I never would have believed that until I've been using the live scope for years. So I think they both come into play. You got to use your instincts, you got to use nature and your surroundings to find where the fish would be, and then you take the live scope over there and you zero in on the fish.
Exactly.
So yeah, mixed emotions. I kind of hate to see it, but at that same time, it's a tool. And these pros that are out there doing it, like you mentioned, winning the tournaments,
Man.
you know, you watch the NBA, they make hitting a jump shot look pretty easy.
Yeah.
And you know it's not.
And that's not easy. And the same thing those guys are doing with the live scope. There's more to it than what it appears. And you think, I'm going to just go get a live scope system and I'm going to go be a bass pro. That's not how it works, because if it was, I'd be a bass pro. But yeah, so I think I have the same feelings as the crew.
You gonna get you a livestock
Oh
pot?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Coming soon.
I'm sold. Sorry, y'all. I know. I love y'all. I gotta do it. I gotta go this way. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna blindfold one of these guys and see if they can choose and figure out which lure that they're touching. We'll be right back.
There's an old Texas tale of an outlaw, legendary fisherman, a master angler, casting into the depths where the monster bass lay, trolling in southwest waters.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna put a couple baits in front of him,
Let's go.
and we're gonna see if he knows what it is.
So next question, are these baits all soft plastic?
Soft plastic. No.
Okay, cool.
You good. Okay, give me a hand. You gonna start on this?
And they have hooks rigged.
No.
That's the first one.
All right, what is this? Oh, I dropped it. This is 100% a TR, like a
Yeah.
TRD right there.
All right, next
Y'all
one.
know
right
I
here.
play with them soft plastic. What is that? Well, it's some kind of paddle tail.
Yeah.
Some kind of little
Paddle tail.
paddle tail, little swim bait. I'm telling you, I put that on the drop shot too.
Next one up.
What is that? Oh, we know this gotta be a bandito bug, a crawl or something.
Ooh, that boy good.
It's gotta be. That boy feel like
I
old.
think that was the original there, though.
I'm talking about. It felt
Okay.
like a. This is 100%. Oh, this Old Faithful. This Old Faithful Cinco. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That boy a fisherman.
So I'm 100% can't see, but I'll tell
Yeah,
y'all
we're
what.
gonna throw a little curveball.
What I
Go
do?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, boom. Right here.
He went.
But he gotta feel his back. When you feel his back, then you gotta run up that little security tail.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna switch up. I thought I was gonna throw him out. Okay, now this is the curveball. Let's see. Go ahead.
The security tail. All right, boom. I can't see this thing, man. This is. What is that? I ain't gonna lie now. This something different.
Yeah.
This got to be a brush hog or something.
Well, the name. What's a different name?
I don't know what this is, bro.
All right, take a look.
I don't know what that.
Got him.
That was a hard one.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? I would like to throw it.
You got.
I would like to throw it, but nah, that was cool, man. I like it.
That boy good.
Hey, I fish with a lot of soft plastic.
Welcome back to Fishing with Poppy. Let's get right into the next question. Tournaments. My brother, describe to us what a beginner needs to do to jump into one of your tournaments.
Thanks, Poppy. Our tournaments are really easy to join. We've got a yearly membership. It's $35. That gets you access to a lot of discount programs that we have from our national sponsors, and it gets you a magazine subscription. And the magazine has a lot of good articles, how-to, stuff like that. So we're the American Bass Anglers. It's a national organization. They've got districts all over the country, and they run from ours, which is like the entry-level, beginner-level tournaments that are open to all levels, really. And then we go up to, there's an open series that's a little more expensive to enter. It's also available to co-anglers, non-boaters, and boaters. And then they've got a high-end series as well. So that membership gets you, you can enter all those different tournaments around the country. We're the DFW Fishing Tour, so we're open to non-boaters. So if you don't have a boat, if you're a kayak fisherman or a bank fisherman, but you're really interested in tournament bass fishing from a bass boat, you come out in the morning. We don't have any meetings before the night before the tournaments or anything like that. You can show up the day of the tournament that morning. I usually get there at 5 in the morning. Come out, we sign you up. There's a $70 entry fee. You sign up, we'll pair you up with a boater, random draw. And then all our boaters are really good at helping our new anglers and our co-anglers.
That's good.
There are a lot of guys that, we're out here because we like to teach and help new guys. That's why we fish these tournaments. But again, I've got to warn everybody, it's an addiction. You come out one time and you experience a tournament takeoff, and next thing you know, you're looking for the next one.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
When's the next one?
April 3rd, Lake Louisville, Tower Bay. You can hit us up on Facebook, ABA, American Bass Anglers, DFW Fishing Tour, for all the information. We've also got a website, AmericanBassAnglers.com. If you navigate through the website, you can find our division, the DFW division, and just give me a call. My phone number's on there. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, hit me up on Instagram and Facebook. I'll answer right away and try to get more people out.
But what are a few do's and don'ts when coming to these tournaments?
That's a good question.
I mean, alcohol to,
Yeah.
what are,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
no alcohol during tournament hours. So after the weigh-in's complete, after you hand over your fish for weigh-in, then you can party all you
Okay,
want
yeah.
to. But no alcohol during the weigh-in. Some do's and don'ts. It's pretty simple. If you're a non-angler, just a lot of times these guys have never been in a bass boat before and don't know the rules. So the boaters are really good about helping them out. If you've got your own life jacket, bring your own life jacket. Bring your own drinks, refreshments through the day, sandwich, snacks, whatever. Because we're out there for about 8 hours on the water.
Exactly.
Sunscreen, stuff like that. Appropriate if it's going to
Toilet
rain. There's a
paper.
chance of rain. Toilet paper. Every boater's got toilet paper in it. I promise you. We've all learned that lesson the hard way. But rain gear, just your basic outdoor gear, pretty much anything you would take for a 8-hour trip to your local pond. Just bring snacks and bring sunscreen and a life jacket. And other than that, we ask that the co-anglers just ask their boater if they have any special things about their boat or their way of fishing that they didn't even know about. And that's a good way to learn. Reels talked about earlier, learning from different people. We've got a lot of guys coming out just to learn different techniques because everyone you fish with is going to teach you something. Maybe you might learn what not to do, but you're going to learn something. So it's a really good way to come out and just experience it and see if you might want to think about it seriously and take it to the next level.
I got a couple of buddies, they want to start their own tournaments. Do you have an umbrella for that, or?
We can. You can, at AmericanBassAnglers.com, you can start your own division. So you can go in there and you fill out the form and submit it to them, and that way they'll take you into the organization. And they provide you with basic ground rules, all the rules, tournament software to use on your laptop for sign-ups, stuff like that.
Top of the line organization. Now let's talk about the bad side. Have you come across, I don't know, tournament directors run off with the money, low out?
You ever seen any cheating? That's what I'm
cheating.
There's not here, around here, but usually when there's a cheating scandal, it makes national news.
Yeah,
in the bass
it's bad.
Bass tournaments, especially with social media the way it is now, it's a pretty small community. I mean, there's thousands of us that do it, but word gets around pretty fast.
Exactly.
So people get banned from life, and when one organization bans a cheater, every organization bans that cheater.
That's good.
So that's a way to keep things level. We are open to lie detector tests. So we randomly lie detector test people. So you never know when you come in for the weigh-in if the guy in the white van is sitting there with the lie detector. So,
you gotta keep your coat.
but the thing is, we've got a really good bunch of guys here, and we haven't had anything where there was any suspicion brought up. But if one guy starts winning every tournament, there's always some questions being asked. But sometimes that guy's just that good. Now we don't have anything that we're worried about here, but we always are on the lookout for something like that.
And real quick, we have to do this. This is a rescue step. Every kayak, especially for us big boys, we flip our kayak, I can't get my big ass back up on the boat. This here is the rescue step for kayak re-entry. This is probably number 2 on your list of safety devices you need on your kayak. And pick this up today. I think it's kayakrescuestep.com. And it's for kayaks. For the big fellas, pull it out. You can step in it, pull yourself back on your kayak. Get you one. Just a few more questions, guys. So, I watched a kid with a bamboo stick catch the biggest catfish and bass. And you think, like, I just spent $4,000 on a kayak, $200 on my reel, $200 on my rod. I got 3 GoPros. You know what I mean? There's like a huge gap where fishing is expensive, but how do you kind of navigate your spending? Now I'm a tackle junkie, so you're preaching to the choir. How do you kind of navigate your spending to what your actual love for the game is? Go ahead, Greg, we'll start with you.
As far as spending money on lures,
Woo! Boy, come on, get into
I
it.
kind of do it. I mean, my wife says it's not smart, but I think it's smart. You know, every time we go to the grocery store, I put 1 or 2 lures in there. You know, hey, I need you to go to the store for this. Okay, I'll go get it.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
1 or 2, you know, and by the time you know it, you're like me. You got half your wall in your garage full of lures, but I've never been, even when I started, I've never been the type of person that I'm not gonna drop $30 on a lure. That's not me.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, I caught so many fish on the Walmart dollar spinnerbait. And I mean, I'm telling you, hands down. Yes, I go through more of them than I would an expensive spinnerbait, but I'm still catching fish. You know, and I mean, the most I think I'll spend on a lure is maybe $10. You know, I mean, that's just the type of person I am. You know, if it's got a hook, it's gonna catch a fish.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just the way I look at it.
So you set a cap on what you spend.
I said. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love, you know, expensive stuff or you know, $200-300 fishing rod, but you know, some of us it's not in our budget, and we do what we can with what we have.
Yeah, y'all heard that. It gets out of hand real quick.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Go ahead.
Man, so I don't have a wife to answer to, and that's kind of a bad thing because I spend a lot of money on fishing. My wife is in the garage, and I wax her about once a week, and it's full of tackle and rods, and with a big old Mercury hanging on the back.
I love her.
Yeah, I love her. She's my wife. But so fishing tournaments, the love of fishing is one thing, but then you add that competition element, that takes it to a whole nother level, and you get a different level of adrenaline rush when you catch that fish. And that's what I like. And one thing I try to do is eliminate any equipment or tackle. I try to take that out of the equation. Like, I don't want my tackle or equipment to fail me in a tournament. So I try to buy the best stuff I can afford, sometimes the stuff I can't afford. So that's why I'm using these Pride rods that are made in Texas by Texans.
Yes, sir.
You mind telling me what it costs for one 7-footer?
So there's different series.
Okay.
There's the entry level rod is a $200 price point rod, and again, it's made in Texas by Texans, designed by Billy Kistler, and he started All Star rods back in the day, and then Castaway rods back in the day, and this is his latest rod company.
I have a Castaway rod. He does something.
Yeah, so these are his new rods. They're all designed on North Fork blanks by Gary Loomis, you know, the famous rod maker. All these blanks that the rod is built on are built by Gary Loomis. So when you buy one of these rods, they start at $200 and they go up to over $500. There's something for everybody in there. But that way, for me personally, I don't want to blame losing a fish on my equipment. that, and my kids are grown. I don't have a wife, so my budget revolves around fishing.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So it's easy for
Yeah.
for me. I don't have anybody to answer to when I get home, and I know how tricky that can be, and that might be why I don't have a wife. But so with that, it's real easy to get in the YouTube trap. It's like, oh, these guys are catching them on a Mega Bass 110 jerkbait. It's $25. Well, you run right out and buy a $25 jerkbait, and the first time out, you break the bill on it, and you're like, well, I learned my lesson the hard way. It cost me $25. I'm gonna go back to throwing a $7 rope, and I catch more fish on that $7 rope. Greg said it, man. You can catch them just as well throwing on that Walmart tackle than you can that expensive stuff. But it's hard sometimes when you go to YouTube, you watch the Bassmaster, and those guys don't pay full price for their tackle.
No.
So it's a balancing act, though, for sure.
Go ahead, Real.
Well, basically, I'm a father, guys. I'm a father of 3, and when it comes down to money, I don't have money, straight up, so I do a lot of shopping like my guy. I keep it simple, budgeting. I don't never go overboard. And a lot of, like I'm saying, during my journey, I've had help, man. A lot of people, I guess, I don't like to call people sponsors because I feel like a sponsorship deals with a contract. So I don't have sponsors. I have a lot of people that I will call, we family. I have a couple of small businesses that back me up, give me discount pricing and, stuff like that where I can make it affordable for myself. Now, as far as just being an adult, sometimes, we got it in us, it's a childlike syndrome. You see something, somebody else got it, you think it looks cool in your box, or, and I have those type of moments where I jump up and I go spend $24, on something like this right here. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this River to Sea, Bob Plopper, it's worth it. The fun and the smiles I get. So what I'm saying is, don't go crazy spending your hard-earned money. But at the same time, get what you need. Like my man said, you don't want to be out there on the bank and blaming it on your gear. And you could have saved for another week and got that. Let's speak about this real quick. This rod, I didn't buy this. First of all, shout out to my mama, my brother, my sister. Shout out to people that love me, man. And they kind of like want to see me, doing this. So of course, I would never buy a rod and reel that costs $200 ever. So I have a lot of stuff that costs maybe, a little lower end. Abu Garcia, Black Max, Mega Cast, Bass Pro Combo, stuff from H2O from Academy. Keep it affordable. But like I said, man, if you can't afford, top of the line, lose, hey man, go for it. Because it is what it's about. Catching the fish, securing the catch. So, I haven't had no problems budgeting. Because like I said, I'm a father, so that comes first. But of course, y'all already seen, I spent $20 at Academy today, and I can catch fish like all month, if I want. So it don't cost that much to do what I do. But I understand, like my tournament guy, yeah, he might want to, figure out how to get bulk and buy stuff in bulk. It's ways you can save money, but you don't have to go overboard, guys. And that's just the whole key. Don't let nobody put you on that YouTube mind frame, because those, like he said, those dudes aren't spending that money. $80 for a mystery box. I ain't never bought a mystery box. I ain't got nothing against mystery box, but I feel like, hey man, that's another topic. I ain't never bought the mystery box, but man, let me tell y'all something. Make your own mystery box. Get in your tackle box, Walmart, Academy, Cabela's. They got affordable sections over there, man. Real cheap. Just go fishing. Just get it done, man. Don't kill yourself trying to go fishing, is what I'm saying.
I could go fishing with my worst enemy. We could be fighting. You wanna go fishing? Yeah, you wanna use some more Real? It's like a different energy when you're talking fishing.
Bro, I got a buddy.
I'll stop. Do it. I'll stop. Yeah, for real. I'll stop, help another guy, totally take away from what I was doing.
Exactly.
Because it's fishing. You're broke down on the side of the freeway. I'm gonna keep going. You're a grown man. This is,
It's the honest truth. It's a brotherhood, man, and I'm glad that we all recognize that. Because, like I said, it's a group of us, a little team of us, and we got Mexican guys, white guys. You know, it's just guys. So I want people to understand that it's not just but I mean, yeah, we got different color skin, but man, those are my guys, truly. You know what I mean? The old friends left and the new friends came, man, and it's all like my boy said, you can't help it. The feeling is here, like right now in this room. It's right now. We ain't even buy the water, but it's like, man, you know, where is it? You know, like, let's go do it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go around the room, give people where they can reach you at, and anything you want to shout out.
Okay, well, simply, guys, you can look me up on Instagram, Real817 Fishing. I got a YouTube channel. It's needs a little more flame. We're working on that YouTube channel, but you can find me on YouTube at Real817 Fishing as well. And as far as, like I said, the sponsorships, hey man, I got a lot of relationships out here. So, and if you want to talk to me about lures, apparel, you know what I mean, you just DM me, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can save you some money. You know, if that's what you're looking for, saving money on some tackle, save some money on some apparel. You know, if you just want to go fishing, guess what? If you live around here, local, Fort Worth, drop me a DM. You know what I'm saying? You want to ask me about what color should I throw? Hey man, drop me a DM on Instagram, Real817 Fishing.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, DFW Bass Hogs. Most of us work together. I think it's 4 or 5 of us that work together. And my buddy Walt and Tom started it. It just grew from there. Mm-hmm. You know, when we put it on Facebook, you know, if you want to join, we're just a bunch of group of guys that like to go fishing. Here recently, we've started an online tournament. You know, it's nothing big. You know, biggest fish. Mm-hmm. You know, at the end of the month, we'll announce the winner, and we usually give away, you know, tackle. But here in a couple months, we want to do our first kayak tournament. You know, see how many people we get out. Hopefully, it's a success, and we can go from there. Or on my personal Facebook, Greg Katachi. Like he said, you know, you just want to go fishing, you need somebody to go fish with, DM me. I'm willing to go. You want to go bank, kayak, you know, just hit me up.
And on Facebook, it's ABA Fishing Tour, DFWTX. And Instagram, Facebook, my personal pages are Billy Danger.
All right, y'all, that's it for our podcast. You done heard from the best. Don't let anything stop you from fishing. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Poppy.